Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I'm back with kind of something, well, it's very different, and it is from ARTEZA. Now again, I say ARTEZA, I'm not sure if it's ARTEZA, but that's just what I say. So they had approached me and asked if, because we do have a relationship, and they had asked if I would want to look at their, what they call a felt fabric. So this is a felt. It is a stiff felt. The size is approximately 8¼ and just over by 11½. So this pack has 50 sheets of the, and again, I say stiff felt. This is not like a wool felt. To me, this is perfect for card makers. Okay, it's not the wool felt. That is at a higher price point. These 50 sheets run approximately $23.99, and I will have a coupon at the end, so stay tuned. But you get 50 sheets. You get mirrored. Look at these beautiful metallics. You get glitter. You get fluorescent. And then these are the regular colors here. So there's every color under the sun. I like the fact that it is stiff. It's not flimsy. I like the fact that this isn't, that good wool felt that you can buy. Again, you're putting it on a card. So to me, we should be in the range of mixed media. So I played around with this. I was really curious. Let's see what we could do with it. So I'm going to use two different ways to cut this through my die cutting machine. I'm going to use one of the blocks. Okay, the steel rule die, and I'm going to use a thinlet die. I want to see if they will cut. Those are the colors that I chose, and I'm just going to start cutting a strip. Now, again, it all depends on the felt. They do not each one, but some do feel different than others. Some are a little bit thinner, some are a little bit transparent. I did not use any of the glitter, the metallic, or the fluorescence. I wanted to use just the regular colors. Now they do have another pack that's 50 sheets as well, and it's, I believe, a 12 by 12 or 12 by 14 maybe. So you can get larger sheets, and it's just a little bit more. There is also a 30 sheet pack, but it has an adhesive on the back, which has got my curiosity going. Because again, you wouldn't have to fight with the glue. There's already adhesive. So that could be a possibility as well. And again, there's less colors. There's no fluorescent metallics or anything else like that. You just get right to the colors. Okay, so back to what I was doing here. So I cut my strips down. I put them on my steel rule die. Did the layering that you need to do through my spellbinders. And voila. We have great pieces. Now, there was a lot of static cling going on in my room, so everything was sticking to my hand. So just, if my hands start flinging, that would be because. Yeah, it was all kinds of fun. But, of course, through the steel rule, there's no problem with these getting cut. You can put multiple layers. I would say no more. I would never go more than 2 layers, but you can do that. I did cut through 2 at once as well through the steel rule. So I'm going to grab a couple thinlets. I do cut one of each of these because I was just curious. I placed my dies on there, and you're going to see I'm going to bring my ever so loved plate, so excuse the plate. I will use a plate until it dies, until it turns into a bowl. So you can see, now these are not intricate dies, okay, but there is some level, like the green one. I mean, there is some small pieces that's coming out, but I wouldn't do, like those beautiful spellbinder frame dies. No, I would not do that there, but these cut beautifully. 1 pass. I did not have to do 2 passes. And again, I am using a Spellbinders Platinum 6. So these absolutely cut wonderfully. So let's make some cards. I do recommend you use a liquid glue, unless you get the ones with the adhesive. I don't know how strong that adhesive is. Maybe in time I'll check that out, see how it goes. But I do use a liquid glue, and the liquid glue that I am using is Art Glitter Glue. For the first one, I'm going directly onto my standard A2 size card base, which I will do for both of my cards. which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and they are top folding. So here I'm just playing with the placement of these geometric shapes. The steel rule die that I used was called Mosaic by Sizzix, and it just had different squares, rectangle shapes onto that platform, which I think could add a lot. So here I'm just going to, layer, I'm going to add dimension, and all of that. I'm going to leave a spot open down in the bottom right hand corner where I'm going to come in now using my VersaFine black, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment that comes from the Simon Says stamp set called Messages for Every Day, and it simply states, I love you more. So now I'm going to glue these down. Again, I am going to use my art glitter glue. This is not for a tape runner. I would not use you could use double-sided tape, but again, I'm a liquid glue person, so I'm going to do the layers first so that I don't forget where I had all of these positioned, and then I will go in and set the other ones in place underneath. Again, I am going directly onto my card base. You can use a design panel first. I would probably recommend that only because, again, you can see I'm using a little bit more glue than normal. Glue has a high water content, especially the art glitter glue does as well. That's why they say you can't get it shipped in the wintertime, because it will freeze because of the water content, but it does adhere everything. So once I've got these pieces down, probably should have used a design base so that, it didn't warp the paper, but that's why I did put a very heavy acrylic black on that. One, to get the glue once it dried. This is not paper to paper, so this will take time for these to dry, so you need to let that alone, and I would say for about a good 10 to 15 minutes. I did not touch that. So for this one, I'm playing with the butterflies. Now this is where I started. So that would have looked really cool, going up, having it. That's not where I ended. I changed my mind. And you're going to see that. And the awesomeness is I forgot to show it. So, yeah. I forgot to hit the record button. So, what I also wanted to show, because I had this other idea as well. I was going to glue those down in the first one. So for this one, I came up with the idea, well, why don't I just do some sewing? Because I couldn't get to my sewing machine. But just do some stitches, going up with a black thread and all of that. So what I will say is needles go through this very well, even though it is a stiff fabric. Sometimes, if for those quilters or sewers out there, a stiff fabric can be difficult to get a needle through. Not this. Very easily, very soft, very flexible. Very easy to work with when it comes to a needle and thread. It doesn't get hooked up, and it doesn't snag the thread either. I do change my mind on this too. I didn't like that, but I did want you to see that yes, you can sew it. Maybe there's something else. So what I decided to do, and this is where I forgot to hit record, I have another block on top of it. I created a background with the butterflies, kind of having the colors going up in the rainbow. So all I did was just glued them down to my standard A2 size card base, and I'm just letting them dry. I'm stamping my sentiment onto a scrap piece of black cardstock that simply says let's get together, and I'm going to use my Brutus Monroe Alabaster Fine Detail White embossing powder, which is quickly becoming my must-have in a detailed white. And also his black. So, I'm going to lightly and gently fan that so that it can cool down, so that I can come in with my fiber cloth to remove the powder. I'm going to trim this sentiment down using my long shears, and I'm going to place that across the gray butterfly. And again, I'm going to use my glue for that. I am going to set that on an angle, and then eventually I will find a place for it onto my card. When I did place the butterflies down too. I was thinking, you can see with that purple one, I got a lot of glue coming through that, because I was thinking just to put glue down the center, let the wings flutter. No. So I used glue on all of the areas to make sure that it did lay flat. They would have gotten snagged. I didn't want the little pieces to be torn off, because again, it is felt. You can literally rip felt, which is fun. Absolutely. Now, the foam squares that I'm using here, now remember, the foam squares, I get mine from Uline. So these are not the typical Paper Crafters foam squares. These are extremely strong. Like if you ever have to rip it off, I mean, you're ripping paper and everything else. So I figured these were a perfect, would have a good adhering on it. Now you can hear me crinkle my paper here because I'm actually pulling them from the envelope. And yeah, that foam, yeah, it's not moving it at all. I'm trying to sit here and I'm trying to pull at it, and yeah, I'll actually pull my my butterfly apart. So my foam squares do work, which tells me then that I could use that for dimension and everything else. So those are the two cards I created. You know, if you're a die cutter, and you like to create, it could be something that you may want to consider. Again, just showing you the options where we can go. I do like mixed media when it comes to my cards. So I think this is perfect. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if in case you were curious, you wanted to know, maybe I gave you the answer, maybe I didn't. But as always, all the links will be down below. I'll even include the link to the 30 sheet with the adhesives if you're curious about that. I know I am. So I might be checking those out on my own. Yep, I almost forgot. There's a coupon. So I'm going to have the coupon up on the screen here. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you type that in. So it's my full name with the number 2 at the end, all put together. This is valid until the 15th of April. Okay, 15th of April of 2019. Okay, it's not going to go into 2020. I wish it would. And it is 10% off your entire purchase. So, just a little bit extra for you. So again, everything will be listed down below. I'll even have the information in there for the coupon, so that's a friendly little reminder as well. And always, if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. I will make sure that I get back to you as soon as I can. It may take a little bit, but I promise I will get back to you. As always, I do thank you so much for stopping by and watching my video for today. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe, be part of my group here, and make sure you tune in for my next video. Here are a few other videos that I did for ARTEZA as well, in case you're curious in their products. I think they are great for the card maker. I hope everyone's having a great day. Take care, everyone, and always remember, be creative.